That's right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10. We actually made it 10 episodes of Watch What Now, the podcast that watches the good, bad, and everything in between. A podcast where we watch a movie that makes you wonder what you just watched. But it's
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10.
and we also have some echoes from audio and phones and stuff. We are so professional here after 10 episodes. We're still learning.
I was the same way with my other podcast that I had when I was in California. I don't think there was an episode I did that didn't have some sort of technical difficulty, but
And this podcast is also, you hear that voice, the journey of my lovely podcast, my co-pod. What do I say? I'm off now. This is also the podcast where my co-host slowly goes through a journey through horror films. And speaking of her, I am Eric from Hey Internet, Eric here. And with me is my wonderful co-host and someone I consider a good friend. She's an AVN Hall of Famer, a former radio show host, and someone who found out recently that if a dog wears a diaper, be careful if you give them belly rubs. Miss Melissa Hill. How are you tonight, Melissa?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. You've got me to the point now where I'm always looking forward to hearing how you're going to do the introduction. And I'm sure people are probably like, what the hell is he talking about?
Oh, I have loads of material, and I'm not going to explain a single one of them. So, honestly, Melissa, this is kind of interesting. You know, it is 10 episodes since we've started this little journey together. And I was looking, and actually, we were going to do this last night, but since we moved it to tonight, it is literally 1 year ago tonight we had our disastrous first time face-to-face on camera with our interview.
You mean, is that the one where I got locked out of the house?
You called me about an hour before we went live, and you were locked out of your client's house in the rain. And then mid-interview, I think you had to take Teddy outside to go to the bathroom in the dark. Right. And then that's when all the audio just took a shit, and you couldn't hear me, but I could hear you. And then we got back together a month later. So it's been a wild year, you and me together.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Teddy was brand new. I remember you laughing because he's the dog with no eyes, and I took him out for a walk in the dark, and I couldn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see him. And then, because I remember he was barking in the house. Well, nothing has changed.
Right.
You know, every time I say I'm gonna do a podcast without Teddy, it never really happens that way.
That's okay.
He was just licking the bottom of my shoe, like as I was setting up my phone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why are you so infatuated with the bottom of my shoe? Like, he was doing a really good job. And so I took my shoe off and looked, and there was like a piece of celery or something in there. And I was like, at least it wasn't dog poop, which is what I usually find on the bottoms of my shoe.
Hey, you know what? Celery is definitely a step up in my opinion. So, yeah, after that, episode 10, we thought it would be a fun idea for the people who do listen and enjoy our show. We put up a poll, and as this is Melissa's journey into horror, she is basically a newbie. You've seen horror movies as a kid, and then you pretty much strayed away from them, you know, when you went into adulthood. And I put 4 pretty much must-haves. Even if you're entering horror. I put up the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and tonight, I knew it was going to win because that's how the horror community is on YouTube. Tonight, we are discussing 1978's Halloween. And Melissa, you watched this earlier today with me. We were watching it at the same time, and I think you said you did see this as a kid, but you remembered absolutely nothing, correct?
Well, yes, for the most part. Like, I didn't remember anything about the way it happened at the beginning. Mm-hmm. There was a couple of things that I was watching it going, oh, that's where I get that from. Like when towards the end and he sits up, when he sits straight up like a zombie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I remember I remember as that was a goal for me as a kid because I was a ballet dancer, and
Hmm.
we would do sit-ups and things like that in class. And so my goal was to be able to just sit up without my legs moving. So now I was like, that's where I got that goal from. And there was a couple of other things which absolutely right now kind of escape my mind, but
Hmm.
yeah, I can't. Oh, I don't know. Totally.
Yes, PJ Souls returns from our Carrie episode. She's our first person to come back. Um, Initial thoughts, Melissa, with me. I mean, I've seen this movie. I couldn't tell you how many times. I'm not going to show my cards yet with my rating. I do think it's maybe one of the most overrated horror movies out there, but I know it's also got one of like the biggest and most devoted fandoms out there. Before we jump into from points A to Z, what were your initial thoughts when you finished this film? What do you initially thought before we get into it overall?
When the film finished,
Yeah, like after you're done watching it, what's your initial thoughts of the film to begin with?
was this supposed to be a comedy?
Is that what you were thinking? Really?
I
Wow.
know it wasn't supposed to be a comedy,
Yeah.
but there are some things that, like, I don't know, maybe the actors did while filming to make the whole experience fun or
Hmm.
funny,
Hmm.
like their death poses.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I think I
Great.
never noticed it, but you did point out someone definitely goes cross-eyed in their death scene, which oh man. So, hello to everybody in the chat. Patrick from Have
Yeah.
Cheetah Will View. He was there for our first meeting with the disastrous results, but we thank you, Patrick, for staying with us for over a year.
Is that Have
And
Cheetah Will Follow?
yeah, Have Cheetah Will
Okay.
View. Yep, that he was there for that. Well, we'll get into it. Halloween came out in 1978. It's known as John Carpenter's, I guess you would say, masterpiece to some people. John Carpenter. It's weird how this timing happened because I guess he just turned 76 the other day. John Carpenter did. It's also known as Jamie Lee Curtis's first film ever, and it is interesting to see where she's gone. She doesn't really do that much horror anymore, aside from returning to the franchise a handful of years ago. Um,
Well,
I
wasn't her mom in
Yeah,
Psycho?
yeah. Her mom is Janet Leigh.
Okay.
She was the one that was killed in the shower scene.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
well, I mean, I guess it would make sense that her first film would be a horror film,
yeah.
and and it also had the same knife when you
That's
think
true.
about it.
That's true. So we
So,
we start we start off.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the moment that the movie starts. Oh, first off,
Mm.
I want to say, how many times do you ask me, "Are you sure you're watching the right one? Are you sure you're watching the right one?" And I was like,
Okay.
"I'm watching the right
Well,
one."
look. Here's how it is. You're a newbie to horror. Okay, this movie's just called Halloween. It was remade in like 2003 by Rob Zombie, called Halloween, and then it came back in 2018 called Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis as a sequel. So I had to make sure that you weren't watching the wrong one. There are 3 films in
Okay.
this franchise that are literally just called Halloween, and it is so freaking confusing.
Okay. All right.
But
Halloween
yes,
is a comedy.
yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah, I
But
definitely had to make sure because I didn't want you watching the one. Well, you would have told me, you would have probably texted me and asked me why Jamie Lee Curtis is so damn old if this cat took place in 1978 because she plays herself. She plays the Lori character in 2018 as well. And all right,
oh, okay. I think I saw part of that, but that movie was it was I don't know. I think I watched it or I started watching it and it just didn't. It had the same psychiatrist in it, right?
uh,
And the same police officer.
well, that's the second one. This timeline, my dear,
Oh, okay.
we could have a whole stream on this timeline. She dies in between parts 2 and 3, but she comes back for part 7 and 8, and then she comes back again, and they ignore everything. it's one of the most confusing timelines, and I'm not going to throw that upon you as a newbie,
Okay.
only 10 episodes in.
Okay. All right. Well, so as soon as the movie started
Hmm.
with the
Hmm.
music did send chills, like it was going up my arm
Yeah.
and up my leg and kind of behind my back. So I was like, okay, all right, let's settle in.
It does have an iconic score. Like even my daughter, who's never seen a Halloween movie, she knows the music. So it's one of those themes that everyone knows. And shout out to John Carpenter, the director. He did all the music himself too.
Right.
So
You
so
know
he
that. Like same with the fog and
yes, he
other
does it
movies
with
he did.
with pretty much all of his movies. He does his own music. So
Okay.
and I think he hit a home run, regardless of what I think of the movie as a whole. With the music, I think he definitely hit a home run.
Okay. Um, so since you're taking a sip, I'm just
Yeah.
going to say that I don't know if people know I'm a big Little House on the Prairie fan. So when I was watching the opening credits and I saw Kyle Richards, I was like, oh, Kyle Richards is in this,
Hmm.
and then I did the calculations and I was thinking she she either must have this movie while she was still on Little House on the Prairie, or maybe just after. So, but I think they say that they shot her a lot from
Hmm.
above, it because Little House on the Prairie was a lot of face on.
Hmm.
Um, like it's difficult to notice that it's actually the same kid. Anyway, that was just my
Yeah.
little side note.
Yeah. And because this came out in 78, and I think Little House was still going on in the late 70s, wasn't it? I think
Yeah,
so.
I think it went to 1982.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have our opening credits. We have with the pumpkin, which looks really cool. We have the great theme, and then where we see somebody's outside. We get the POV shot, and we see Judith Myers and her boyfriend. They're making out on the couch. Where's Michael? He's out. He's out fooling around somewhere. Oh, you want to go upstairs? So they go upstairs, and I timed it, Melissa. I sent it to you. I said from the time the lights go off to the time Michael goes into the house, we still see the POV shot, and he grabs the kitchen knife to where she asks if he'll call her later. We all have our off nights, but this guy was one and done literally in like a minute 11 seconds.
That's probably why he was like, yeah, sure, I'll call you.
Yeah,
He was so embarrassed.
yeah, yeah, or call me tomorrow so we can try over.
Right.
So we have this POV shot, and we just have we were looking through eye holes because someone's wearing a mask.
Uh-huh.
And we go upstairs, and she's sitting at her wardrobe, and she's brushing her hair. And Michael walks in. We don't really know who Michael is yet. If this is the first time you've seen it, you're assuming a family member or a friend or something like that. And then we constantly see her getting stabbed, and it's a POV shot. Like, I don't get it. He should be looking at her while he's stabbing her, but instead he's focusing on the knife. So he's like, if she's in front of him, he's literally looking to his right and not even paying attention to see if he's penetrating her with the blade or not.
Good observation.
Yeah. And then, that we walk downstairs, the parents show up, they say Michael, and then the big shocker, they pull the mask off, and it's 6-year-old, 8-year-old boy. I don't remember the age, and he's just got this blank stare on his face like that. And he looks very, very out of it. And did you know that Michael was a kid? Like, you don't, like I said, you saw this as when you were younger. Did you have any idea that Michael Myers started out doing this as a young boy? Was that like a
Uh,
like a surprising reveal to you as the newbie that it was a young boy doing this?
um, I thought that I actually thought that he was Jamie Lee Curtis's brother.
Okay.
And that he was a teenager. So even when the movie started tonight,
Mm-hmm.
I was calculating in my head that okay, so there's the older sister.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know if is she his sister or his mom.
That's his sister Judith. Yes.
Okay, so she's older, and then I thought, then him,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit younger than that. I thought maybe he was jealous or something that the sister was making out or having sex, and so killed her for being a whore
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
something like that. And then I thought that Jamie Lee Curtis's character either hadn't been born yet or was just a baby. So
Mm.
that's going into this movie. That's what I thought
Okay.
it was. So,
Yeah, like I said, the timeline gets crazy. They're not brother and sister in this. That's revealed in the next one. And John Carpenter himself said he hated it, but he was writing this script on a 6-pack of Budweiser a night. So that's where that idea came from. But we cut to 1978 now, and now we meet what we were calling the worst doctor ever. We meet Dr. Loomis and his
God,
nurse, and they're driving to the sanitarium to pick up Michael to take him to, I believe, a court date. And I'll give it this: there is a really creepy scene where you see all the inmates are out in the rain in their white outfits, I guess you would say, just standing around babbling to each other. And
they look like zombies.
yeah, they really did. It was really creepy. And Loomis has to get outside to open up the gate. And that's when we have, I don't know if I said it or maybe to myself, but because you were talking about how strong Michael is. He leaps on the top of the car and breaks the window. And we were calling him basically Superman because of how strong a 21-year-old guy can just grab his hand and bash the windshield of a car.
Right.
So
yeah. That
he's,
was. Yeah. So I'm just sorry. I'm looking at my notes.
No, you're fine.
I also was like, who smokes while driving anymore? But especially a nurse.
Yeah, that's true. I never noticed that because when he reaches through and grabs her, you see like she's still, she gets grabbed and assaulted by an inmate, but she doesn't let go of that cigarette, does she? She's still got it in her fucking hands when he grabs her.
Right. I mean, the whole thing was just so that part of the movie I don't ever recall seeing, even as a kid. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. So that's how that starts. I don't know. I remember as a kid, I think I must have just walked into the room when the trick or treating. Oh, that was the other part. Okay.
What's up?
The other thing that brought back a memory was seeing the kids trick or treat in the daylight, and
yeah,
I remember thinking when I was younger, seeing this, like, who trick or treats in the daylight? So
we trick or treat after school, but usually it wasn't until like maybe 5 o'clock or something, because even back then, at least in my neighborhood, no one was getting home till about 5:30. So there's no point of trick or treating that early.
Right. Okay. So all right. Superhuman strength to smash windows with hand. That's right. My observations are, I don't know, maybe sometimes different than yours.
Go ahead.
I wrote down, if it wasn't for the way that they speak, the film looked like it could have been filmed today. But that was based on Jamie Lee Curtis's clothes and what I see here in Vermont.
So Vermont is still stuck in the late 70s with their fashion
and their cars.
Other cars.
Not all of Vermont, just there's parts. But I mean, honestly, I was like, there's nothing wrong with what she's wearing, like, but then I don't know, that when she was in school, like even when she was in school and she was staring out the window. But again, watching them walk home from school, and one girl was a cheerleader and bitching about cheerleading practice, and they're all smoking cigarettes. Everybody's smoking a cigarette.
Everybody, that's how. Yeah, it's 78. Every senior smokes a cigarette apparently. Well, so we cut 2 days later after Michael, or the next day, Halloween, where Michael has escaped, and we meet our 3 girls. We meet Lori and Linda in the middle, played by PJ Souls from Carrie. And then we have Annie Brackett, the dark-haired one. She's played by Nancy Loomis. And, definitely 3 different personalities in this movie. You have Jamie Lee Curtis, who I think gives a decent performance. She's fine as they call her the Girl Scout because she doesn't want to go meet the boy. She's even though she smokes pot with Annie while they're driving to the hardware store, but she's still the Girl Scout. Her performance kind of gets swallows up because PJ Souls is just the bubbly, totally girl. You know what I mean? She's boy crazy. And then I'm not gonna lie, all Annie fucking does is whine throughout this entire movie. And poor Jamie Lee, her performance is her first film, and she just kind of gets swallowed up, I think, by the other 2 girls. She gets lost in the shuffle.
Well, see, I saw it differently than that. I felt that Jamie Lee Curtis was very natural.
Okay.
Because it feels like she wasn't acting.
Mm-hmm.
She was just natural, just herself, it seemed like, and I felt that in some ways, like the acting of Annie and what's the girl's name in the middle?
Linda
was over the top.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that, and but that's why I think Jamie Lee as Laurie kind of gets swallowed up and pushed aside because the other 2 are just so in your face and over the top. But yeah. So this is where we get a very, very long montage of Michael stalking the girls. Whether it's this scene here when he drives past in the hospital car, no less. It says like the sanitarium, like right on the side of it.
That's the other thing. This giant station wagon is driving through town with the emblem of the sanitarium on it, and nobody notices.
Yeah, it doesn't seem out of place.
Yeah, the police officer doesn't even notice. Like, oh no, we haven't noticed any. In a town where they won't open the door if you're banging, kicking, and screaming with wounds on you. Nobody noticed.
Right. It's this little podunk town in Illinois. And it makes you wonder because you always see Michael with the mask. You never see him without the mask until like one shot at the very end. Like when he's stalking, in this montage, the car is outside the class window. It passes them here and they yell at it. Or he's hiding behind the bushes or by the laundry. You know what I mean? The clothesline. He's always wearing his mask. It just makes you wonder, is he driving with that thing on? And he drove a long ways to get there, apparently, from what Loomis says. Like, how's his peripheral vision? Does he know the rules of the road? Does he know anything like that? So it's just interesting stuff like that. But it's a very long montage of just watching the girls walk, and then they see Michael, and then they walk, and then he's behind the bushes, type of thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, as we know, to answer your question, after the burglary at the hardware store.
That's right. Yeah.
Masks were stolen, which apparently, only kids steal that. So my guess is that he drove. Oh wait, are you saying that? Yeah. Okay. From the time he escaped to the time he got to Haddonfield, he probably didn't have a mask on.
Well, that's what I was wondering. But it's just when he never takes it off, type of thing. But he had a long way. Does he know how to read a map? You know what I mean? Does he know how to get from here and there? And then we had that one scene that you and I were both talking about, where Loomis is on the road, and he happens to find the payphone that just happens to be next to the abandoned truck and the dead body of somebody. That was just pure luck.
I mean, at first I was going to make a comment about how there was a payphone kind of in the middle of nowhere, or like right off the highway, and my question was, how do you know to stop there? Yeah. Like if the psychiatrist is driving down the highway and he's like, I got to make a phone call, like, yeah. How did he know to stop there? That there would be a phone, because it's not at a gas station, it's not at a store, or anything
Right.
like that. And then, oh, hey, check that out. There's this red truck over here with hospital clothes hanging from it, and it's kind of like, obviously he's not a cop, because why didn't he
Right.
take pictures of anything? Why didn't he have any evidence or anything like that? Why didn't he pull out his cell phone? Just kidding. I know they weren't around back then, but and then so like he finds that these clothes are there, but he didn't investigate any further to see that there is a dead body in the bush. So how did he know that those particular clothing items belong to Mike Myers?
Yeah. It
Those
just
are my questions.
it makes you wonder if John Carpenter was having his 6-pack at night when he was writing this as well.
Well, I mean, I guess he was probably, some people when they make movies assume that your audience is stupid. Maybe he was assuming the audience was smart.
I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's like just a bunch of jump cuts. It seemed like, all right, we get the idea. The audience can conduct on their own. Okay. But I'm still confused though. How did he know to stop there to make a call?
Well, here's the thing, though. If the audience is smart enough to figure that out, but then why do we need to literally spoon feed them? Michael's here watching them. Now Michael's here watching them. Now Michael's here watching them. You can make a drinking game. Every time you see Michael, drive by or just look at them or follow them or hide behind bushes, take a shot. You'd be dead within 30 minutes.
Right. I was like, here's my okay. So when Jamie Lee Curtis is in class, and she sees him out the window, and he happens to be standing outside the window of the classroom that she's in. How did he know? Like, one, how did he know what school she goes to? Okay, maybe there's only one high school. Okay, fine, we get that. But sure. How did he know which classroom that she was in?
And it's weird. It's all a big coincidence, because if you remember, as of right now, he really has no reason to follow her. There's no brother sister angle or whatever. Like, this is just some girl who put keys under his, because I guess her dad's
is a real estate agent.
Is a real estate agent. Thank you. And before she walked to school, she put the keys under the abandoned Myers house, and he was already inside because he knew how to get back there. He must have known how to get back there from the sanitarium, just like that, after 15 years or however long it's been.
I mean, I guess her stepping foot on the porch just chapped his hide enough where he was like, I'm gonna follow that bitch. Yeah, and I'm going to kill all of her friends. Yeah, get off my lawn.
Gee.
like, what was the beef that he had with her? Like,
I don't know. And it's not like she was insulting the house. It was a little Tommy who was calling it the haunted spook house and everything. So she was just saying it's just a house. So who fucking?
Right.
So
maybe his goal was really to get to Tommy. I mean, because he did start following the kid too.
That's true, because there was that one scene after he was watching her in class where Tommy is carrying a pumpkin. You got the 3 little bullies picking on him. They trip him, and he breaks the pumpkin. Then you got the bully that runs right into Michael. You have that one scene. Let's see here. Now we're with I'm just gonna call him useless Dr. Loomis.
he was a waste of space. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
Like the police officer said, he was all of his fancy talk. It wasn't even.
I had that written down.
Talk. Yeah. So sorry, guys, running late, but happy to be here.
Yes, hi, Barb.
Hi, Fear the talking.
Yep, that's Barb. That's super fan Barb. She's your Valley Girl fan.
Yes. Okay. So flipping the page. Wait. So the okay. All right. This is where I wrote. Wait. So the psychiatrist just happened to find the telephone. Okay. Got past that. Yeah. Past that. All right. Next question. Why doesn't she call 911 when she notices that this car is following her and the guy in the?
Even if she doesn't call 911, her best friend's dad is the sheriff. Be like,
Right.
hey, there's this freak in a sanitarium car following me. Can you have your dad check this out instead of worrying about? And here's a question I had for you, Melissa. You were a 70s kid. In 1978, if a hardware store was broken into and Halloween masks, rope, and a bunch of knives were stolen, would you assume that it was just a kid? Is that what you were looking to play with in 1978? Because that's literally what the sheriff says. Probably just a bunch of kids after literally saying rope and knives were stolen as well.
I don't think so. I think like if it was like a drugstore and a bunch of candy was stolen,
exactly,
and masks, okay,
yeah.
but I mean, they're just, what was it? Knives, masks. They were, one step shy of duct tape.
Yeah.
Did duct tape exist in 1970? Yeah, I believe it did.
I was, when I was a kid, I was no angel. I pocketed a lot of stuff from things like that, but it was like baseball cards and gum and wrestling magazines and stuff like that. I'm not going to steal rope. I'm not going to steal knives, and then that just makes me think Sheriff Brackett's kind of a shitty sheriff if he's assuming that it's kids stealing. Either that or Haddonfield is one really fucked up town.
I was just going to say maybe that was their way of trying to illustrate just how small town and podunk this town is, that like no crime happens there except for, the crime that had taken place 15 years previous to that,
right?
When he killed his mom. But you would think that like, I don't know, maybe that was the thing, like enough time had passed, 15 years had passed, people kind of forgot about it, so they weren't really on the lookout for teenagers and kids carrying knives.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I did. I'm glad that you watched this for basically your first time, because you were able to point out some things that I never noticed. But again, I never noticed that he literally said it's probably just some kids after rope and knives were stolen, of all things.
I mean, okay, if we were to go Scooby-Doo, like it's always those kids.
Yeah, it's it's the meddling kids that solve the problem. It's always Old Man Withers that's doing it.
That's true, right? It was the kids solving the crimes, but it was adults that were committing the crimes.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Like 1978, I remember in the town I lived in, which was kind of small, but not like Vermont small. We had 20,000, but like back then, kids hung out in front of the liquor store. That was before they started, putting no loitering signs out in front. I mean, at least where I lived. Yeah. So I guess it's possible that, if those same kids that happen to hang out in front of the liquor store, or if the hardware store next door to the liquor store where the kids hang out got robbed, then sure, possibly they would assume that it was just those lousy kids that are smoking and doing dope.
Smoking and doing dope. Make sure we hide the ropes and knives. You know what they'll be after.
Right.
Patrick says, fire up the mystery machine. So the next thing I got on my notes, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of you, is this. Now we're back to, again, useless Loomis, and he's in the graveyard with the caretaker. If you remember that scene, they're walking through the graveyard, and Loomis wants to inspect Judith Meyer's gravesite for some reason.
And I was just gonna say, and why?
For some reason, I never knew. And then you find out that a gravestone is stolen, and Carpenter tries his best, and the poor actor who plays the caretaker tries his best to make it seem like it's a mystery of whose gravestone is stolen. Was there a mystery? Yeah, we didn't need the caretaker to which grave is it? 11, 12. It's Judith Myers. Yeah, exactly. We didn't need that.
And then, so I guess back to superhuman strength, because there was not even any shovel marks or
he lifted that fucking thing like He-Man.
He just lifted it straight out of the ground. Like, and I mean, those things are kind of heavy, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna talk to that. We're gonna talk about his strength later on in the finale, how he can do all these superhuman things, but he can't break down a fucking closet door to
Closet
get to.
door.
Okay, so we got that, and then we had the hardware scene, mask and rope stolen by kids apparently, and
Right.
then this is where again we have Loomis and Brackett. They're Scooby Dooing everything, and this is where they show up at the Myers house. We found out Michael was hungry, and this is one of the dog scenes I warned you about. We found out he was hungry. Yeah, there was a carcass of a warm dog that they talked about. It was off screen. And this is where we get this long explanation of I tried to reach him for 6 years and spent the last 7 trying to put him away and eat
This is
the
where all the
darkest
math
eye.
takes place.
Exactly. Like this is, he had the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. He was purely evil. I mean, we get it. We get it.
Right.
Bad kid. We don't know why he did it. He needs to be locked up, but we have all these it makes sense that Donald Pleasance ended up playing like a Bond villain, in the James Bond movies, because he's literally giving like a James Bond villain, this is my plan, Mr. Bond explanation about what Michael did, in my opinion.
Right. So Barb even says, I've seen the movie dozens of times, but didn't realize he ate a dog.
Yeah, Barb, there's when they walk in there and then you don't see the dog, but they mention, oh, there's a dog laying there. And then they say it's still warm. And then Loomis said he was hungry. You know what I mean? So that's what that is. I think.
And he said in the office, maybe a skunk did it. How did a skunk eat a dog? Right. And also when that scene happened, I heard him say, oh, there's something there. I didn't even hear that it was dog until you told me that he said dog. They said it was still warm, and I was like, I thought he said there's a tub here.
Yes, Michael's just taking a bath in the living room.
Took a bath, and the water's still warm. That's what I thought.
Oh my goodness.
But then when he said, "Oh, maybe a skunk did it," I was like, "What?"
Wow. This is the stuff you get for free on Watch What Now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.
I thought he took a bath.
Oh my gosh. Yes, like Barbara says, having a little R&R time. Good Lord. Okay, so now yeah, after Michael has taken his bath, he's all cleaned and everything. We're now with Lori is now babysitting Tommy, and they're watching a spooky movie, and he peers outside, sees the boogeyman. Lori tells him,
weren't they watching Dr. Demento? They're watching Dr. Demento.
I think so. They're watching. Someone mentioned either Dr. Demento or something like that. I know Lindsay, Kyle Richards, she's watching the original The Thing, but we haven't gotten to them yet. But Tommy sees the boogeyman. Lori, in her nicest way, is trying to tell him, shut up, there's no such thing as a boogeyman. I'll protect you, type of thing. She's playing the big, brave babysitter. And this is where...
Which also confused me, because she literally all afternoon going, there's this dude following us.
Yeah.
But suddenly... that this kid, Tommy is saying there's a boogeyman outside, like she's not curious at all. I mean,
yeah. Tommy might not. Tommy obviously doesn't know that she's been stalked. So maybe, Laura, you can put 2 and 2 together that the boogeyman, whether it's Halloween or not, you've just been followed, and think you've been watched by some creepy dude in a mask for like the past half a day. So maybe there's something to Tommy, and he's not just being an annoying little scared kid.
Right.
Let's see.
Land sharks. Skunks are land sharks.
Oh my
land
God.
Shark.
Oh God, I remember that. Yeah, the old Saturday Night Live knocking on the door.
Land shark. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean that was my thing about that. It was like he kept saying the boogeyman's out there. And she just she didn't totally dismiss it. She did peek.
Right.
But I would have been like, what was he wearing? describe him to me.
Was he driving a station wagon?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So wait, we're still with the doctor and the sheriff walking around and talking and stuff,
They're
right?
walking around and just doing nothing. And then the next thing I have is where Michael Myers is stalking Annie, and there's the one scene where he does take out a dog, which we'll talk about as little as possible for you.
Well,
and
wait, did we already pass the part where he says mouth shut and eyes open?
I didn't write that down. I wrote down the only thing I wrote down was, because I was getting frustrated with them too, is the sheriff, after Loomis is given more monologue stuff, the sheriff basically says, "No more your fancy talk." I had that written down later because I was finally feeling what everyone was feeling with all of Loomis's Michael Myers is the most evil thing in the world bullshit.
He was sort of like in a Apocalypse Now.
Mm-hmm.
The Marlon Brando character, and he's just droning on and on and on. It's like, get to the point.
Exactly. You're looking at your watch. All right. It's been 20 minutes. We get it. Right. Michael's evil.
Like, how come he didn't say, because the cop was basically saying, look, I need some evidence. Mm-hmm. And he should have been like, well, we went to the sanitarium. He was running around. He, attacked my nurse, stole the car. And which goes back to did we already pass the part where they're like, how does he know how to drive?
That was in the very beginning before Loomis got to Haddonfield. There's like, how does he, he doesn't even know how to drive. And Loomis says, well, somebody gave him lessons.
Okay. All right. So that was another quick explain away thing from John Carpenter.
Well, here's the thing. And I'll let that slide because
but then they didn't have GPS back then. Go back to your question. How did he learn how to drive and read a map?
Okay, see, that's my thing. I'm going to let the whole learn how to drive thing slide because growing up, before Michael became evil, devil's eyes, blah, 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 he's getting driven to school. He's getting driven to babysitters, grandmas, all that stuff. You can kind of figure out 2 and 2 how to somewhat work the mechanics of a car at that age. At least I could. Because I had a lot of babysitters, a lot of trips. You can, to turn the ignition, which is brake, which is accelerator. But sorry, Barb, Melissa wants answers. I don't have answers on how this guy who's been locked in a sanitarium, he's been locked in the nut house for as long as he's been locked into, knows how to get from there. So obviously he knows where he is, can read a fucking map. If there was a map in the car, and get to Haddonfield. I don't buy. In the dark, he's reading that, remember? Because he broke out at nighttime.
Right. I mean, and a lot of development happened over a period of 15 years. There could have been, a highway that was built that wasn't there previously.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, of course, I guess he could just follow the road signs that says Haddonfield this way. But Haddonfield would have to be big enough for it to be on a freeway sign. But according to the cop, Haddonfield is a very small town because only kids steal knives, rope, and masks.
I think
things just don't make sense.
I think your answer was that this is a shitty sheriff. He doesn't know what kids are doing nowadays, I guess Michael just has a built-in GPS. I don't fuck. It's even worse. Eventually, Laurie Strode leaves Haddonfield and goes to California, and Michael drives all the way from Illinois to California in 1998 before GPS.
Well, in actuality, they're already in California. The movie was filmed.
And that's one of those things I didn't even tell you, and you told me because I knew about it, but you told me you found out from the license plates, right?
Right. I was like, when the pedo van pulled up in front of the house Annie is supposed to be babysitting, California license plate, blue background with gold lettering. I realized that.
I've never noticed the palm trees
earlier in the movie. In the movie. When they were walking through the neighborhood, I mean, I reckon the neighborhood looked so familiar to me and I was, because I did live in Studio City for a while. So like a lot of things, like there's a CBS studio in Studio City. So they do a lot of filming just driving around Studio City, like a lot of shows do or did anyway. And but I did recognize there was one street, because there's also the street names are the plaques are like a certain color and a certain size. When you live in a area, what the street signs look like, kind of. Anyway, and I recognized the street sign. It said Genesee, which I know is like either in Hollywood or West Hollywood, which is literally over the hill from Studio City.
See, this is why we have you on, Melissa. You know all this stuff. Because I never noticed the license plate ever, and I've never noticed, like, I'm sure it's in the very beginning of the movie, probably when they're driving around to the hardware store. But I guess there are palm trees in the background, and but again, this is Illinois, the Midwest, and we're here in the Midwest where I live, we're known for our palm trees. So.
I mean, yeah, there was a couple, daytime walking around scenes where, I recognize the shape of the hills in the background, and the sound of the traffic. The traffic has like a certain sound to it.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah. So I knew. Well, see, I have a friend from New Jersey who's from Haddonfield, New Jersey, and he had told me years ago that this movie was based in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Obviously, he was wrong. Yeah. As I learned tonight, it's Haddonfield, Illinois. I don't even know if that exists or not.
No.
Okay. Well, there's a Haddonfield, New Jersey. So I was like, well, I'm sure Haddonfield, New Jersey, from how he described it, the houses were bigger and more, spread apart. So when they were walking through the neighborhood earlier in the day, I was like, those don't look like East Coast houses. Those are definitely California houses, because they're newer and and they're close together. So anyway, there's my thoughts on that. Kind of like in Valley Girl, in Valley Girl, after watching Valley Girl, there's a little video that came on afterwards of some guy that's walking through. Here's where all the iconic scenes from Valley Girl were filmed. And so they actually go to the neighborhood, and here's the house, and the trees were of course bigger, but anyway, and it's sort of like when I was watching Valley Girl, well, of course it's called Valley Girl, but when I was watching Valley Girl, I was like, oh, that's shot in the valley.
Wow.
Anyway, great detective work.
Well, right there, Patrick says Melissa would make a good Daphne. All right, I think. Come on, compose ourselves. We're professional here. Yeah, sure. I think we're now at the part where Michael has taken care of Annie's dog, and you texted me. You said no wonder no one likes her, not even her dog likes her, because she's busy on the phone talking to her boyfriend. And this is
she wouldn't even look at the dog.
Yeah,
she was like, the dog is supposedly right here next to her, and she's like looking straight ahead that way. I thought the whole scene was weird, because it's like they're showing her on the phone up here, and then they do like a crotch shot with to show the dog is there. Part of me thought like maybe that's not even really her standing there until later when they panned out, and I was like, oh yeah, no, that's crotch. But
good detective work on that.
She has the same camel toe.
Yeah.
Same actress.
Yeah, Jinkies. Good Lord.
But yeah, it was like, I mean, I don't know. If a dog was growling like that and I'm at someone's house, I'm looking outside.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Yeah. I love dogs.
Yeah, well, and then she after Michael takes care of the dog, she's just such a fucking Debbie Downer. We get it. You can't go out. You're stuck watching. I think Lindsay is not her sister. They have the different last name. She's babysitting. We get it, but
Right.
like she's pissed that the dog she thinks is getting action and she's not. That's why the dog stops. You know what I mean? Oh, he must have found a girlfriend after Michael took care of him. Like
Oh yeah, somebody's having a good time. Yeah.
she's very unbearable, and then she spills, I don't know what the fuck she's making. She spills something on her shirt, and then
Butter.
butter on her shirt, and she has to go do laundry. And this is when I was texting you, and this is even my wife when she was watching a bit of it. She's like, I texted you because again, you were a 70s kid. Did they have laundry rooms in a shed that far away from the house? Because I have never seen it before or since.
Well, here's my theory is in LA, a lot of houses had swimming pools, so they had pool houses. And then, eventually decades come around and people have washer and dryers and, so it kind of made sense to me.
Okay.
Like that the pool house had been neglected and was now a shed
Okay.
with laundry facilities inside. I
Okay.
mean, I've of course, in the 1990s, I had a friend whose laundry the garage is separate. It's like
Mhm.
they're not connected. And so to do laundry, I'd have to walk through the backyard to
Okay.
get to the garage to do the laundry. And every time it scared the shit out of me. This probably because of this movie. And I just didn't realize it until just now.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll buy that explanation a lot better than Michael's map reading explanation. So we'll go with that. And this is another scene this must be the part where you think it's a comedy, in my
Wait.
opinion. What?
Wait, we got a comment here. You think Michael likes his dog well done or medium rare?
Oh,
Fie
Patrick.
on you.
Patrick, you're in
For
trouble now.
shame.
You're
For
in trouble
shame.
now. Patrick means well. We'll give him credit. He's been with us for a year, so we'll give him credit. So this is the part where I think you thought this movie turned into a comedy because Annie's dumbass gets locked in the laundry room. And then she tries to climb out, and she's yelling and screaming for Lindsay. Lindsay answers the phone. It's the boyfriend, Paul. And then she goes and
we never saw Paul, by the way. How come he never called and said, "Hey, Annie was supposed to come pick me up and she never showed up"?
Well, she says something like Lindsay mentions she was stuck in the window or something like that, because you literally have Annie. She tried to get out the window, and when Lindsay walks in, you literally just see her butt sticking in the window. Her foot is caught in some type of rack, and then she's still pissed off at poor Lindsay for helping her. I mean, this woman is just unbearable. And they have their little, oh, Paul, yes, well, we'll come, we'll have fun, blah, blah, blah. I'll get rid of Lindsay. So she's walking across the street. She's going to dump Lindsay off on Lori. Poor Lori. Now she's stuck with 2 kids and no boyfriend.
Right. What I took back from Annie is that she's not only a whiner, but she doesn't have a really good work ethic.
No, not really. She really is an unlikable character, and she gets even worse in the remake. But we're not going to go there. So she's walking across the street, no pants. It's Halloween. I guess that's her costume. That's why she gets away with it. She dumps Lindsay off onto Lori, poor Lori. Then she goes back, and I don't know. She goes into the garage. I don't know if she ever put pants on to begin with, and she gets in the car. And then this is kind of a neat scene because she notices that there is some steam all over the windshield. And this is where it goes from comedy with her butt hanging out the window to a horror movie because, it's steamed up because someone's inside breathing. Michael pops up. He grabs her. He's strangling her. And this is where we sadly get to the funny part where you said, does she die with crossed eyes? And I never noticed it, but as Michael strangles her for a good 15, 20 seconds. Again, Patrick says she looks like an old maid. He's strangling
No,
her
they're talking
again.
about Lori.
Oh, that's
They're
possible
talking about
too.
Lori looking like an old maid.
That's true. And then so they're strangling her, and then I think he takes a knife and slices her because you hear a little whoosh noise. And that's where her face
Right.
falls on the window and her eyes literally go cross-eyed that I had
So
never
cross-eyed.
noticed until you pointed it out to me. So this must be your little comedy angle for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's it. I mean,
because I was watching the whole thing, the way her eyes were at first, because he was choking her, her eyes bugged out. Like she went,
yes.
you
Yeah.
know? And I was like, okay, that could be realistic. I lived a life and
Mhm.
not all of it great, and someone had their hand around me, and I felt like my
Mhm.
eyes were popping out.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, I get that. It looks funny, but you think though, the filmmaker, because my time in front of the camera, especially on film as opposed
Mhm.
to video, they would say things that you do in real life don't necessarily look good on film, or
Right.
acting that you do on stage isn't the same acting that you do on film,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to facial expressions. Like they should be, small.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because the camera will find it, but
Mhm.
clearly not in this movie.
Yeah, that's oh, so next we get to this. Okay, now we're in my favorite scene. We're now at my favorite scene where the three bullies walk up to the spook house and they're teasing Lonnie. Lonnie is the one that's always picking on Tommy. You know, the whole boogeyman scene earlier where he breaks his
Mm.
pumpkin. And they tease Lonnie, and Lonnie's gonna go peer in the window. And Loomis, this is the only time I actually like Loomis in this movie. This is where he's peering. And he puts his hands over his mouth and he scares Lonnie. He's like, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. And he scares the kids. He has this little devilish smile. I'm like, you
Mhm.
actually have a personality in this movie. You know what I mean? And that's my favorite scene because we actually get to see something from him. And then we get more Loomis talk about Michael being the worst person ever created, and that's when the sheriff says, "Okay, no more of your fancy talk."
Oh, this must have been when they said the policy, he said to have the police keep their mouths shut and their eyes open,
Yeah, yeah,
because I guess apparently they didn't want to spook the neighborhood. But I mean,
right. Well, here I got a question. What kind of we're already shit talking the sheriff because he thinks it's kids that are stealing the fucking weapons and rope and stuff like that. Why is he taking all the orders from Loomis? He just met this fucking guy like 3 hours ago. You know what I mean? And he's doing exactly what this guy says. This guy could just be this could be the guy that was driving around in the sanitarium car for all he knows,
right?
but
Yeah.
but this he's taking orders from him. So I never understood that.
I
And
mean, it also could have been the sheriff doing the driving for all we know.
that's okay. Here's where we get Bob the pedo scene. The
I
scene
mean,
that
wait, that would make
yeah,
sense if it was the sheriff, because he would know where the kids go to school and which
yeah,
classrooms they're in.
that's true. He would know where Judith Myers is buried, even though again he didn't look like Superman to me. I didn't think he could fucking lift up a damn gravestone. Okay. Ooh, here we go. My next note is Linda and Bob the pedo.
Okay.
This is the part that you missed. This is where Linda shows up with you called him Mr. Glasses. They're in the front seat of the car. And this is where you missed it because you were texting me about the license plate. And they want to go into they're going into Annie's house because Annie is taking Lindsay over to Lori and to get ready so they can go have a little foursome type of thing. And they're sitting in the front of the car and they're drinking beer. And Linda says basically, so you know what the plan is, right? He's drinking his beer. Yeah, first I rip your clothes off, and then you rip my clothes off, and then I rip Lindsay's clothes off. Lindsay's like 8 years old, if that, you think? Around 8. She's
Yeah.
definitely middle school or elementary school. And I told you as many times as I never noticed Annie walking across the street with no pants. This is something I've noticed from the very first time I've seen it. It's one of those. It's just a gross line. I don't care that it was 1978. A lot of people defend it, saying, "Well, he was just making a joke," because Linda kind of rolls her eyes and says, "Totally." I'm just like, no, that's disgusting. Now, it still would have been bad if he said, "Oh, then we rip off, Lori's
Annie's
clothes."
clothes.
And is, I mean, I get it, but Lindsay's like fucking 8 years old, so that's a major point taken away from me. That's just disgusting. I don't care if Bob's supposed to be a funny dork or not. He really sucks with that.
And not to mention, he's driving a van that
He's
is carpeted inside. So
yeah, it's probably got tinted windows.
and his girlfriend has bows in her hair.
Again, I never noticed. He's got a thing. So I think Bob is probably on a list in Haddonfield that he has to register every time he moves from town to town. So they go and they have their sex, and at least he lasts a lot longer than Judith Meyer's boyfriend. I think he clocks in at like 3 or 4 minutes instead of the minute 1 second.
I don't. He slid off her pretty quickly.
He did. And
it must not have been that great, because later she's filing her nails.
Yeah, like it was Tuesday, okay, well, it's Bob's days tonight, night to night.
I mean,
so they have, and they do have a fun little exchange, like who's going to go get the beer, but it's just like, this is like an awful couple that I would not want to see married with children. You know what I mean?
Right. Because they're not even in their own home. They're in another couple's bed. So they've had sex in someone else's bed. Now they're smoking in their bedroom, and then and then they're about to drink some beer, and she's filing her nails.
Yeah.
All in someone else's bed. Lack of respect.
Yeah.
Lack of respect.
Damn kids nowadays back then. Well, hey, you know what? If they were stealing rope and knives, I don't think they give a shit whose bed they were fucking in. So Bob goes down, he's looking for beer, and then he's also like going through the drawers. I guess he's gonna fucking make coffee or something. I don't know. Because he goes down for beer, he's supposed to be looking in the fridge. And then Michael pops out. This is a cool scene. Michael pops out and pins Bob up to the wall. It's the classic scene we've seen before. He pins Bob to the wall, and I really did like the scene. Not just because Bob's into younger girls, but because it is a cool death scene. It's an iconic image. Michael looks at it. He does a kind of a cool head tilt to admire his work. And I really, really enjoyed this scene, because this movie does prove that, since we started this show, we started with the substance. You've seen a lot of gore when it comes to horror movies. This movie is a perfect example where you don't need the gore. You know what I mean? It's just atmosphere and the way things are shot. And I think this was a really good death scene, in my opinion. It's just proof that less is more.
It is. However, I think cinematically, I like it. However, Bob, how come he's not slumped over? He's got the knife is in the middle of his abdomen. How is his head still upright? Just asking.
You know what? The Scooby-Doo crew once again has questions. That's a good point. I don't know. Again, I don't think John Carpenter was paying attention to a lot of this things.
We could assume that maybe his shirt got stuck on something on the pantry door. But
you know what? Maybe Michael, again, he's so strong, unless you're in a closet, he's so strong he could just force your body to just be up against the wood no matter what. I don't know.
Right. And maybe that's why he was admiring it, because he was like, he's not slumped over. Interesting.
He tilts his head. It's like with a dog when you're talking to a dog. You hungry? You know what I mean? They make that look. So now we cut to.
Surrounded by dogs.
Now we cut to
by dogs. They all just walked away. I was just by dogs, and they all walked away. Oh, by the way, while I was watching the movie, I have 5 dogs here. None of them reacted to the dog death scene favorably. Like,
you did text me that.
all their heads popped up and their ears went, and they were like, that. Yeah, they didn't like it. Especially the even though it was just a little squeal, they weren't happy with it.
Yeah, I don't blame them. So now we got yeah, he's super strong, but hey, that's his kryptonite. So now we get this scene. Is this where you think it's a comedy again, Melissa? We get Casper the Friendly Ghost shows up with the beer, complete with Bob's glasses, and I just don't. This is the first time that Michael has shown, I guess, a sense of humor, kind of. But I've always thought that this scene felt out of place. Him dressing up as a ghost, complete with Bob's glasses. He's always hidden in the shadows before. I mean, granted, how else is he going to get into the room with Linda? But still, it's just kind of weird. But he shows up with the beer, and they're having a little argument. PJ Souls does her classic, "You see anything you like," and she did say this once in an interview. She said she once actually saw this, like, I think it might have been the premiere, and there was a bunch of people yelling and hollering. So she said she knows that she's going to be famous for that scene for probably the rest of her career. And this is where we get, again, a little bit of overacting when it comes to the killing. Kind of like Annie in the car. We get, Linda has called up Lori, or trying to get a hold of her, and we just hear the choking on one side, and we see that Michael is strangling Linda with the phone cord on this side. And it is this, in my opinion, kind of this over the top stage acting from her. And I think I would have taken it more serious, honestly, if he wasn't dressed up like Casper with the glasses.
Hi, Panda. Right. Yeah. Well, and the other thing I noticed when he was strangling her with the phone cord is that it didn't even go all the way around.
Yeah, he's not the best with phone cords, but we could definitely tell that that's why he sticks to knives and stuff like that. He doesn't really know how to use those type of weapons.
Right. And then how it's like falling off of his head, and then he's wearing his mask.
Yeah. So it's already it's a William Shatner mask from like Star Trek, and they just kind of made the eye holes bigger and they painted it white. But he can't fucking see through that thing. Now he's got a sheet over his head. Who knows how big those eye holes are? We don't know Bob's prescription when it comes to those Coke bottle glasses. So that could be our Scooby-Doo explanation on why he's not strangling her that hard. He can't see and know what he's doing. I don't know.
Other questions I have are like, each time he kills someone, where does he put the bodies? Because they seem to be moved around a lot. He does, because later. Also, let's not forget, he's got the tombstone still.
Yeah. He must know how to schedule things, because we now have the scene, because this is where finally Loomis, after searching the entire fucking neighborhood, he sees this one station wagon that's just sticking out like a sore thumb.
He's been standing there all night, and he just now noticed that the station wagon is like a half a block away.
Yeah. So he finally is somewhat useful. Lori goes across the street because she wants to know what's going on with Annie and Linda and the boys. And this is where Michael has to have a schedule, because she walks into one of the bedrooms and she sees Annie laid up on the bed with Judith Meyer's tombstone. And, as she's going from room to room, that's where we see Pedo Bob fall down from the ceiling like he's hanging, and then Linda's like in a fucking linen closet or something like that. So he's not.
And Linda, with her eyes are looking up.
Yeah, like we go from cross-eyed to rolling eyes in the back of the head, looking up at the ceiling. Two different people. So not only is Michael Superman, because he can smash through windshields, he can punch through doors, he can lift up tombstones. He's also the fucking Flash, because he's got to move super fast to get this all set up, have the bodies hidden, because it doesn't take Lori that long to hang up the phone, make sure the kids are asleep, and walk across the street. And he's got all this stuff already set up.
Right.
So again, it's just like, man, he really is a superhero when it comes, or a supervillain with special powers when it comes to all this. He's got time to play practical jokes as a ghost. He's got time to set up rooms specifically. He's got time. Well, it's a good thing he's, those kids stole that rope because he was able to hang Bob from the ceiling,
And the other thing, I'm curious, why did Annie get the tombstone? Because Annie technically didn't even have sex in this movie. Wouldn't that
No, she didn't.
If this is all about, babysitters having sex things, like shouldn't Tombstone been in front of
Linda?
With Linda?
Yeah, and Annie
Linda?
should. Well, maybe he felt bad that Annie was already stuck in the window. He didn't want to shove her in a linen closet. You know what I mean? Who knows?
I feel like he should have killed her when she was hanging out the window. That
it would have been a lot easier. Would have been a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, a little bit scarier, but because now they're gonna stick their head out the window.
Yeah.
No one now is ever going to get into a car with a steamed up window either.
Nope. Because someone's in the back seat. So Lori walks in.
And the other thing.
No, good. Yeah.
One more thing. It was
please.
who keeps lanterns inside the house when like there's the jack-o'-lantern to the bed when they're having sex with it's a real candle because back then they didn't have fake candles.
Right. You'd think either have a candle or just turn on the lights. That's all you got to do. I mean, do you really need to hide the fact? Do you really need to hide the fact that you're having sex because you're already doing it in someone else's bed? It's not like you're being discreet anyways, So.
Turn on a nightlight. Open the closet.
Yeah, exactly. Do something. So
okay. Anyway,
Lori sees that. You see this really cool shot of Michael's mask just appearing in the walkway. That was that image I took to make our thumbnail for tonight. With my face and you on top of Lori's body. She gets stabbed. She falls backwards over the balcony. She's okay. I guess she hurt her ankle or something. And then she runs. This is where she's running, screaming to her house. Nobody lets her in. She's screaming, "Help me, help me." No one lets her in. And then she finally gets to her house across the street. She has to take a potted plant. She throws it up to the upstairs window, wakes up Tommy. Tommy lets her inside. And again, Michael's the fucking Flash. He power walks across the street. She gets inside. And then after she tells Tommy to get upstairs with Lindsay, you see that
he's
a side window.
In the house.
Yeah, you see a side window is open. So he's lucky that they don't lock their windows in 1978. Because he shows up, attacks her, and she stabs him in the neck with the knitting needle.
Right.
Because she's sitting down in front of the couch. He stabs the couch cushion. She stabs him with the knitting needle. He falls down, and then she just kind of sits there. She sits there and waits. And waits. And waits.
It's like, why are you sitting in the same room where this guy just was? Like, I'd be not only would I not have my back against him, I wouldn't be in the same room. I'd be gone. I'd be out. I'd go grab the kids, jump out, I'd do something, jump out a window. We already know she can survive the fall because she survived the. Oh wait, is that where she survived the?
Yeah, no. She fell off the balcony. She got sliced on the side of the arm, and then she fell off the balcony. Then she ran across to the house she's in now, and then she stabs him with the needle.
Okay.
And then she sits there, takes a rest, puts the knife down because she has the knife in her hand that he had. She puts the knife down, then goes upstairs. And then Loomis is on patrol. He's still walking around. He's probably lost. You know what I mean? He's never been in Haddonfield before, or he's probably lost. So Michael walks upstairs. Lori walks upstairs. Michael follows. And this is where the kids run down and they run outside. They're yelling and screaming. And that's where at least Loomis, okay, finally, that must be where they're at. You know what I mean? He knows that that's where the house is. And this is where we get the closet fight. This is where we find out that fucking Superman, who can punch through doors and lift up tombstones, cannot rip a closet door off its hinges.
Especially one of those kind of closet doors That it's
exactly.
like a saloon door.
Yeah, I get. My daughter's 13. I bet you she could rip those off the hinges.
These
You know
are
what I mean?
this is the same type of these are the same type of doors that my friend Almond, had for his closet toilet.
Is that the same one with the poster?
Yes.
Oh, good
Yes.
Lord. Oh my God. Well,
And
that's going in the intros.
and let me tell you, the closet toilet wasn't as big as this closet.
Oh my God.
It was a much smaller closet, and it had a little latch that you put right here, and then I think a towel that you pull down to like provide some sort of privacy, where the gap is. Anyway.
Oh my, there's some, I know a lot about that person, and sometimes the things that I find out, I wish I didn't. Good. I had no idea it was a closet toilet. Well, that's going into the intros.
And these people here are like, what the hell are they talking about?
That's okay. If you only knew. So Michael can't rip closet door off, even though he can lift a fucking tombstone. Lori gets lucky. She is able to take apart a coat hanger, and she stabs him in the eye. And that must be Super Michael's kryptonite. And he walks away.
I mean, she to hang her apart, and would she pull it and then twist it and all this other stuff? Like, that's not that quick, really.
No, because I guarantee you, those were those fucking metal ones from the 70s. You can't pull those things apart just like that. Those metal ones? No way.
Right, they're bigger. Right. So, anyway, I'm gonna go back a little bit and just tell them.
Yeah, please do.
Almond is someone I dated.
Yes.
Almond is someone I dated, and this person, Almond, had a toilet in what used to be a closet. Very ingenious, I must say. However, he didn't change the closet doors. He still had the closet doors in the toilet.
Wow. When I heard the bathroom story, I literally thought it was at least a bathroom. But again, no, I had no idea it was in a closet.
Toilet. It probably.
Wait a minute. Not to get disgusting. Did it at least flush? Did he have it hooked up so it could flush, or is it just?
Oh yeah, it flushed, and there was a little tiny sink across from it.
Put it in a closet.
So you'd sit down, use the toilet, and literally like stand right up to wash your hands. Like, it was a small closet. It was this closet. The closet in this movie, they could have easily put a shower in it.
Oh my God. I had no idea. Excuse me, Almond, I'd be right back. I got to use the closet.
I got to use the closet.
But this is the same type of person whose porch was, sinking into the ground, so he put a hubcap underneath it. So I'm not surprised. So I'm not surprised. Good Lord.
Okay.
Okay, on to a different creep.
Right.
The kryptonite of the clothes hanger happens. Kids are sent away, and then Loomis walks into the house. Finally, he uses his Scooby-Doo stuff. He follows the kids. He tells the kids go away. I'll take care of it. Lori is now strangled by Michael, and we finally get to see Michael without his mask, and all that big buildup, and he looks like that. He's got a swollen. No, I was just saying. It was just when you see, he's not burned or disfigured or anything like that. But it just seemed like they made a big deal focusing on his face, seeing him unmasked. When we've seen him unmasked before as a child, we know he's not disfigured. His eyes like that because of the clothes hanger, obviously. That's Tony Moran, the brother of Aaron Moran from Happy Days. I think this is like his. Yeah, this is like this when he tours the conventions. He is Michael Myers, so he looks like that. And then we have Loomis showing up finally to save the day, shoots Michael 6 times, and Michael falls off a balcony, and then just kind of takes a nap,
Wanders
kind
off.
of takes a nap in the backyard, and then Loomis goes to check on Lori right here. He takes a nap, kind of takes a nap, sleepy time, and Loomis checks on Lori. We have the classic, it was the boogeyman. As a matter of fact, it was seen between the two of them. And Loomis goes back, looks, and then he sees Michael is gone. And I will give Donald Pleasance credit. He was told to do this take 3 different ways. He was told to give a take of disappointment, a take of sadness, I think, and then the one that they used in the movie. And you kind of tell he's like, Loomis is like, I expected this to happen. I expected this to not be over. And then we cut to all the different scenes where Michael has been. We hear the audio of Michael breathing, and that's it. That's kind of the end. And
or is it?
or is, oh God, we're not. I told you this timeline, Melissa, is so messed up and weird. You think you had questions before? You know, we'd have another 2 hours to talk when it comes to timeline. But that's it. That's Halloween, and I'm not gonna lie. I think the ending for me has always been kind of underwhelming. I kind of wish we had a definitive ending type of thing. But what do you think? Knowing that this movie had all the hype, what did you think of it just kind of ending like that with no definitive defeat of Michael? Are you okay with that? Would you have rather, all the sequels pretend they didn't happen? Would you rather Michael have been defeated, killed, or how would you have preferred the movie to end? Or are you okay with this?
I'm okay with it, I think, because, well, I mean, back then, nowadays everything's about a sequel.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is when I feel like sequels kind of started. There was Halloween 2, there was Superman 2, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. It wasn't Star Wars 2, but
yeah, we tried to get franchises. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I just kind of felt underwhelmed that he shot him 6 times. All this stuff happens, and then it just kind of ends. We don't get a definitive, okay, he has been defeated, and then we just get the close up of Lori crying, and then credits.
I mean,
that is Halloween.
I feel like there's a lot of unanswered questions, but I mean,
you have no idea, my dear. You have no idea. I'm serious.
I would have thought that they would have been answered in part 2, but in any of the series of Halloween movies they have, is there a prequel?
There is not a prequel. So,
well, that's where all the answers could have been.
Well, here's the thing. Okay,
Mike Myers in the sanitarium.
I'll go through this very briefly. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Halloween 2 takes place on the same night. Lori has been taken to the hospital. Michael finds out where she is. He goes to finish the job. You find out they're brother and sister. I don't remember how. It's stupid, so it's not important.
Oh, they are brother and sister.
They are brother and sister. You find that out because she has a memory of visiting Michael in the sanitarium for some reason. I don't know. And then he tries to kill her. Loomis actually does something. He blows himself and Michael up in I don't know what part of the hospital it is, but there's gas and he lights a match type of thing. Definitive ending. We have Halloween 3, which has nothing to do with Michael Myers at all, and it failed at the box office. So because there was no Michael, he wanted to make like every year a different like spooky type of Halloween themed movie. People were pissed. We wanted Michael Myers. So they brought back Michael Myers. They brought back Loomis. Lori is now dead, and now Michael is stalking his niece for some reason. She's living with a foster family, all that stuff. The 5th movie is the same thing, but more annoying characters. We kind of get an origin story in part 6, starring Paul Rudd, of all people. Paul Rudd is Tommy, the little boy named Tommy in the first movie. He's all grown up. And apparently Michael has been controlled by this group of druids that worship the stars. It's really fucking stupid. And it just gets worse from there. That's definitely one for this show, but I'm not forcing you to watch it. And then that rabbit hole gets even worse down the road. So they do somewhat explain, air quotes, why he does it, but they do a really, really shitty job. It's all magic ruins and druids, and Paul Rudd's there to save the day. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. The less you know, the better, I'm going to say.
All right. Sounds good.
No, it doesn't. All right, Miss Hill, what is your favorite scene and what is your rating for Halloween 1978?
My favorite scene is when Annie gets stuck in the laundry room with her butt in the air. That was I think that was the most endearing part of Annie.
That was definitely her best acting.
Her best, yeah. Like I thought that was cute. In a way. What is my rating for this movie? You know, I totally forgot to. All right. I will give this is going to be so simple. I'm going to wait. Am I? No. I will give it 3.5. I'm torn between jack-o'-lanterns and eyeglasses. I'll give it 3.5 pairs of Bob's eyeglasses.
3.5 Bob eyeglasses. You heard that here, folks. Miss Melissa Hill just watched the classic 1978 Halloween and ranked it below Troll 2. So, of all things, God bless her. But you know what? It is what it is.
And you're right, though. It wasn't as scary as Wreck.
Yes.
And when you told me that, when you said, well, at least it's not as scary as Wreck, I was like, you crazy? But then I was watching it tonight, and I was like, oh, okay. It took a long time for the killing to start. That's the other thing.
It really did. It was definitely a slow burn when it came to, but again, 70s movies are slow burns. So you gave it a 3.5. I am going to give, my favorite scene, I already said, was I liked when Lonnie and the kids went up to the spook house and Loomis scared him away, because we finally got to see Loomis actually do something fun and like not just bullshit with regular lines that no one cares about. So I'm going to give this 3 William Shatner masks out of 5. Okay. That's my score for it. It is what it is. It's not one of my favorites, but I mean, I can respect what it's done for the horror genre. Because of this, the director of Friday the 13th made his movie because he said he literally just wanted to rip off Halloween, and that's what he did. Right. So that's what we got.
Just on a little personal side note type thing. One of the reasons I had difficulty taking Loomis seriously is because he reminds me, he looks like and he sounds like this doctor that's on a TV show on the on Animal Planet, and it's called My Pet Ate What?
What?
It's called My Pet Ate What?
And you
and
oh my God.
Doctor, he's Ukrainian and he lives in Canada, and he goes on to different cities in Canada with an endoscope, and he retrieves items out of the digestive tract, out of the throat, stomach, and intestines of all different animals. So like there'll be dogs on there, and they'll be pulling out like sock after sock after sock after sock. Anyway, so I had a really difficult time taking Loomis serious because he sounded like and he looked like this doctor on My Pet Ate What?
And that's perfect for Watch What Now. Barb says she is glad you had fun with this one. After 10 episodes, Melissa, I've got, we've done a lot. We've discussed so many films. Right now with our scores, because I've been actually keeping track of our scores now. Train to Busan and Wreck are at the top. They're the only ones that have gotten perfect scores from us. They are up there with an average of 5. Halloween is at number 6. It's under Valley Girl. We will give it that. It's at 3.25. But we'll say this: our highest rated films after 10 episodes are tied. Train to Busan and Wreck, perfect 5s. And down at number 10, still at a negative 3.3, the Tommy Wiseau classic. Thank you, Neil. The Room.
Wait a second. Where's The Substance? Where's that one?
The Substance is at number 3 with an average score of 4.5 because I gave it a perfect 5 and you gave it a 4.5. So
because it was our first movie and I wanted to save space.
Sure. All right.
But that's all been thrown out now. Okay.
That's okay. Hey, you know what? I'm just amazed. Hey, Halloween is above Troll 2 in our average scores, but I will say this, like I said, where else but Watch What Now will you have someone give Troll 2 a 4, and Halloween a 3.5? And that's what I love about this show. We don't talk about our scores ahead of time, so that's one thing I think is really fun. Would you like to say, we don't know when yet, but would you like to say what episode 11 will be? Since I mentioned we had a guest for The Room, would you like to say what we have planned for episode 11?
Okay. Yes, we have planned. And now I just want to disclaimer this by saying that this choice was made a couple months ago.
Yes.
Before certain things happened. Correct. Recently. Okay. Yeah. So our podcast 11 is going to be Spinal Tap.
Yes, we will. We are planning on talking. This is Spinal Tap, which I've seen once in my life, and it's probably been over 20 years. So I only remember the part with the dwarfs and the part where they get lost. That's about it, to be honest. We have
It's Neil's favorite scene is.
And Neil, God bless him, he is already committed to it. He is actually coming back to the show after The Room. Of all things, he is coming back. It will be fun to have his perspective because he has been around so many musicians in his lifetime. I can't wait to hear if any of this stuff really happens behind the scenes. He doesn't have to name names, but I want to know about it.
Oh, yeah, it does. So for those of you who don't know, so my friend Neil Preston, he's a photographer who's toured the world pretty much with Led Zeppelin, Bruce Springsteen, Fleetwood Mac, the Amnesty tour. He did Live Aid. He was Queen. The list goes on and on. Anyway, so this is his favorite movie, and he's been begging us to please do an episode where we talk about This is Spinal Tap. Like ever since we did The Room, he's been asking if we could do This is Spinal Tap. And so we're finally going to do it. Yep. And because we needed to get more horror in there because we were doing comedy and, all this other stuff. So when we needed to get some more horror in there. And so I think Neil is actually probably going to be here it doesn't matter if he's here or not in person. Right. But yes, the reason he loves that movie so much is because it is exactly the people that he knows. I
can't wait. We're shooting for the 31st. That's 2 weeks from yesterday. We'll see how that works, the way life is with our in both of our little households. But we're shooting for the 31st this month. I cannot wait for Neil to be here. Barb has a question. She says, well, how do I get another movie bumped up that I want you to review? Well, Spinal Tap.
Is she also saying that she's never seen This is Spinal Tap?
Looks like it. Yeah, never saw that one because I know she definitely have seen all the freaking Halloween movies. We've had plenty of talks about Paul Rudd and the fucking Druids. I know that for a fact. So now you guys have 2 weeks to prep if you want to join us for that show. Barb, well, you already gave us I'll say this. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star review and a written review, screenshot it and send it to the Watch What Now Instagram, we will bump up a request that we have on the Facebook page of yours, and we will do that sooner than later. It will be within the next 2 or 3 episodes. We have to be fair. But Barb, I guess since you've already gotten the Valley Girl one for us, you gave us a 5-star review on, because we do play favorites. We were trying to grow this little show of ours. Barb, I'll tell you this. If you go to our Facebook page, which I know you already follow, if you give us a positive review, positive written review on our Facebook page. We'll play favorites and we'll bump one of your suggestions from the coming soon folder up as well. But as of right now, episode 11 is locked down with Melissa and Neil. We are doing this as Spinal Tap, but that is a way to get show some more favoritism your way, and we have no problem doing that. So,
Right.
any final thoughts on Halloween, Melissa, or upcoming with Spinal Tap, or just this little show in general after a year of audio problems and dog problems and life problems, but we're still having this little fun journey of the two of us continuing?
Right. I think each episode I've done, I've been in a different background.
You have. I don't think you've been in the same room twice.
Oh, I'm hoping that gets rectified in the future soon. I was gonna say, for those who haven't seen This is Spinal Tap, and want to watch it before we do the episode, just you gotta put yourself in the mind frame of a British rock and roll band, or I don't even know what, because you have to be in the right frame of mind to watch it.
Yeah, all I know is it's a very goofy, like, mockumentary. It's a documentary, but it's definitely a 100% comedy type of thing. But because, like I said, it's been like 20 years since I've seen it.
Right, because I did try to show it to someone, and he also grew up, believe it or not, he only grew up with like one TV station and very sheltered life, so he didn't get it at all. It was like, I don't understand. Anyway, so yeah, just kind of like, I don't know how to put yourself in that mindset, but try.
Yeah, do your best.
Do your best. Maybe catch up on some National Lampoon or something. The British humor.
Yes, I'm sure that would help a lot. Some British humor,
or even watch Best in Show. That's a mockumentary.
Yeah, because that has a lot of those actors in it too. Because I know Christopher Guest is one of them. Harry Shearer he's a voiceover actor from The Simpsons. And is it Michael McKean, I believe, is the lead singer. And he's in everything. Shirley. Yeah, Laverne and Shirley. He was Lenny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Lenny. And he's been around forever. So I'm very excited. And like we do want to say, we did have this planned 2 months in advance, and it was just timing with the tragedy that happened with Rob Reiner. But we are not doing anything to bank off of that. So we're going to have a good time. I already know we're going to have a good time, and that's what we want. Well, that's it. Thank you for everybody who's been in the chat. Barb, Patrick, everyone it's been fun reading your comments. Melissa, thank you for your fine detective skills tonight.
I was just going to say, I've back when I was like really into computers and stuff, people used to say that I should have been a detective. So I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe we should break out the mystery machine.
Well, you know what? We'll break out hey, like I said, whether it's wondering how he can get from here to there, or if that's the same crotch shot from Annie from before, we all know now we have great detective skills here on Watch What Now. And it's been a lot of fun. 10 episodes. It's been a lot of fun doing this, on camera. For, like I said, it was weird how this is actually our 1-year anniversary since that wonderful interview we did where we had to do I think it was episode 11, and then because of how it ended, we did an 11.5 to end it properly. But it's been a fun ride over the past year with you. So I will say that. Thank you for wanting to continue it.
I appreciate that, and this was a lot of fun. To be honest, like today was kind of a bummer day. I live in Vermont, which is beautiful, but it's very remote, and as you can see, this is a very old house, and so sometimes I get a little bummy. So and like today, I was just like, I don't know if I could do it, but I'm glad I did.
we got you
interacting with
laughing.
you
We got
and
you,
all of your
laughing.
friends.
We got you smiling, and yeah. So you have something to look
I
forward
love
to. And like I said,
interacting
I'm
with
glad you do
you,
it.
and I love, yeah, and I love all of your friends too. So thank you to everyone who's participates in the chat. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. With that, we will once again say thank you to everybody, and knock on wood, we will see you guys roughly in 2 weeks with a very special guest, Mr. Neil, and he will be here to help us discuss This Is Spinal Tap. So I am
Right.
Eric.
Yeah, you guys, Neil's business card literally says, "Do not Google me."
I love that
Which
man so
means,
much.
I know. So anyway, yeah. All right. Okay. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Yep. With that, we'll see you in the next one. Of course, I want to end the
Adopt,
stream.
don't shop.
There we go. All right. Now I'm going to click end stream. Adopt, don't shop.